That was a song for the Lord. Now we're at 2 Chronicles 32. So Hezekiah, everything he did it to the Lord. He sought the Lord with all his heart, and he prospered. And so after these deeds of faithfulness, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered Judah. He encamped against the fortified cities, thinking to win them over to himself. And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib had come, and that his purpose was to make war against Jerusalem, he consulted with his leaders and commanders to stop the water from the springs which were outside the city, and they helped him. Thus many people gathered together who stopped all the springs in the brook that ran through the land, saying, "Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water?" And he strengthened himself, built up all the wall that was broken, then utterly destroyed that could deliver his people from my hand. Let's reread that. So okay, so why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water? And he strengthened himself, built up the wall that was broken, raised it up to the towers, and built another wall outside. Also he repaired the Milo in the city of David, and made weapons and shields in abundance. Then he set military captains over the people, gathered them together to him in the open square of the city gate, and gave them encouragement, saying, "Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid nor dismayed before the king of Assyria, nor before all the multitude that is with him, for there are more with us than with him." So real quick, how many times, just with me, have we read to be strong and courageous, do not be afraid nor dismayed, do not be afraid nor discouraged? It's all over the Old Testament, it's all over the New Testament. Why should we worry? For tomorrow can worry about itself. Live for today. Live for the Lord. When you live for today, you're in the present moment and you get to enjoy things. And I mean, that's something that we really need to hold on to, is to be strong and courageous, to not be afraid nor dismayed. Don't worry about the things of this world, the worries of this world. Let God handle it. When you seek God and you love God and you seek Him with all your heart, you're going to prosper in any situation. So with Him is an arm of flesh, but with us, with them is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us and to fight our battles. See? And the people were strengthened by the words of Hezekiah, king of Judah. After this, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, sent his servants to Jerusalem, but he and all the forces with him laid siege against Lachish, to Hezekiah, king of Judah, and to all Judah who were in Jerusalem, saying, "Thus says Sennacherib, king of Assyria, and what do you trust that you remain under siege in Jerusalem? Does not Hezekiah persuade you to give yourselves over to die by famine or by thirst, saying, 'The Lord our God will deliver us from the hand of the king of Assyria'? Has not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Judah and Jerusalem, saying, 'You shall worship before one altar and burn incense on it'? Do you not know what I and my fathers have done to all the peoples of other lands? Were the gods of the nations of those lands in any way able to deliver their lands out of my hand? Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed that could deliver his people from my hand, that your God should be able to deliver you from my hand? Now therefore do not let Hezekiah deceive you or persuade you like this, and do not believe him, for no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people from my hand or the hand of my fathers. How much less will your God deliver you from my hand?" That sounds like something the enemy would say. The enemy is so swift with his words. He's a talker, man. The enemy knows how to chop it up. He's the smoothest talker you will ever meet. I mean, this is an example. He sounds real persuasive. And let me tell you, the devil, I mean, he knows the Bible more than I do. He's witty with it. He's slick with it. He's smooth with it. Don't get conned by the enemy, man. He's a smooth talker. Furthermore, his servant spoke against the Lord God and against his servant Hezekiah. He also wrote letters to revile the Lord God of Israel and to speak against him, saying, "As the gods of the nations of other lands have not delivered their people from my hand, so the God of Hezekiah will not deliver his people from my hand." If you need to, son, dump that out. I thought we could use him as a wrestler. That's pretty cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
We can give him a crazy name. But hey, if you want to dump that whole thing out, you can. Yeah, that's fine.
Find the other table.
Yeah, just whenever you're done playing, that's just where they go from now on, okay?
Okay.
Right on. So, then they called out with a loud voice in Hebrew to the people of Jerusalem who were on the wall, to frighten them and trouble them, that they might take the city. And they spoke against the God of Jerusalem as against the gods of the people of the earth, the work of men's hands. So whenever they say this, so You know, when they spoke against the gods of Jerusalem as against the gods of the people of the earth, the work of men's hands. So in these days, even nowadays, people worship things that they create with their hand, these statues and wood and carved images, statues like the Statue of Liberty and just other things. People worship these things, statues of Gandhi, crosses. Do not worship a cross. It will not save you. Jesus died on a cross. Jesus is the one that saves. So what he's saying is like, you know, these gods of the people of the earth, the works of men's hands, the works of the man's hands who they said they're God. And he's right about that. Their gods couldn't save them because, you know, you cut down a tree and make a wooden image, right? How can that wooden image be a god? How could you make that image a god whenever you literally cut the tree down to make it? Does God not create trees? You know? And they spoke against the God of Jerusalem. Or like, you know, you build these statues out of metal. Are you not the one that's welding these metal statues? How can it be a God? How could you create God when God's the one that created you? And they spoke against the God of Jerusalem as against the gods of the people of the earth, the work of men's hands. Now because of this, King Hezekiah and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amoz, prayed and cried out to heaven. Then the Lord sent an angel who cut down every mighty man of valor, leader, and captain in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned shamefaced to his own land. And when he had gone into the temple of his God, some of his own offspring struck him down with the sword there. Thus the Lord saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all others, and guided them on every side, just like he does for us. And many brought gifts to the Lord of Jerusalem and presents to Hezekiah, king of Judah, so that he was exalted in the sight of all nations thereafter. In those days Hezekiah was sick and near death, and he prayed to the Lord, and he spoke to him and gave him a sign. But Hezekiah did not repay according to the favor shown him, for his heart was lifted up. Therefore wrath was looming over him and over Judah and Jerusalem. Then Hezekiah humbled himself for the pride of his heart, he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the wrath of the Lord did not come upon them in the days of Hezekiah. Hezekiah had very great riches and honor, and he made himself treasuries for silver, for gold, for precious stones, for spices, for shields, and for all kinds of desirable items, storehouses for the harvest of grain, wine, and oil, and stalls for all kinds of livestock, and folds for flocks. Moreover, he provided cities for himself and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for God had given him very much property. The same Hezekiah also stopped the water outlet of Upper Gihon and brought the water by tunnel to the west side of the city of David. Hezekiah prospered in all his works. But remember, he also sought the Lord with all his heart. However, regarding the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, whom they sent to him to inquire about the wonder that was done in the land, God withdrew from him in order to test him, that he might know all that was in his heart. Remember, God will test you. He will allow you. God will test you, and he will allow you to be tested. It is Satan who tempts you.